Well, the Vault 2.0 supposedly is what the fourth encounter of Salvation's Edge is. The basic gist of the encounter is that there are three symbols, a circle, a square, and a triangle. However, this adds a new third dimension when you combine two of those 2D shapes. So you have a square and a circle, which makes a cylinder. A circle and a triangle make a cone. A triangle and a square make a pyramid. Also, you can double up in them, so two circles make an orb, two squares make a cube, and two triangles make a prism, so like a d4 dice. Now, at the start of the encounter, 3 people are going to be sent outside and 3 people are going to be set into individual rooms each. And there are going to be 3 statues. The best way I can describe it is that for the inside players, your ideal goal will be that you want on the wall to have 2 symbols that are not the symbols that you are holding in your statue, right? So let's say that you are player 1 and you see that your statue, if we're saying player 1 is on the left, middle, right. If your statue is holding a triangle in its hand, then you want on the wall to have a square and a circle, right? Now, obviously, that won't be the case, probably, right at the start, but let's just say that that's what you want at the end, right? That is, quote-unquote, your final shape. We'll get to the outside in just a second, but let's focus on the inside. So, from the looks of it, this is random, so anybody could be sent in, kind of like Vaults of Glass. Now, I know, technically speaking, it can be manipulated by, let's say, if you see yourself about to be teleported, you kill yourself. That does cost a res though, outside. But hopefully though, with this, you'll know what to do if you do get teleported inside. So if you are like this and you have a triangle and you see you have 2 triangles on the wall, like the wall is shifting between a triangle and another triangle. What that means is you have nothing that you need. And also, that's kind of nice though, because you know that the other 2 people will obviously be needing triangles, right? The square will need a triangle and a circle, and the circle will need a triangle and a square. So what you would do is you would kill one of the knights. They will drop a little triangle. You can pick up a triangle, and then you can deposit it at one of the other 2. That is essentially sending this triangle to their walls. But let's say that you kill one of your knights, it drops a triangle. Now, again, okay, let's rather go for the square, because this is an ideal scenario. In a perfect world, it's like this. The circle has both circles, and the square has both squares. Now, technically speaking, there is a sort of low comms, but more high effort strategy to do it like this. Is that to get into this scenario. Because now, each individual player knows for a fact, oh, I can kill a knight and just send it to player 1, and then kill the other knight and send it to player 2. I don't have to know who needs what, right? But that's not ideal. And it might not be the case at all. So for example, here in the square person, he knows that he has a square that he does not need. Initially, you don't know whether to give it to the person that's on the left statue or the right statue. So you would have to say, like, hey, which one of you need a square? The circle guy will say, oh, not me. I have a square. The triangle guy will say, oh, I need a square. So then you know to deposit a square here. Likewise, the circle guy will go, oh, I have a circle. Hey, who needs a circle? Triangle guy will say, I need a circle. So then he will obviously deposit there. At the same time, because the triangle guy knows that he has 2 triangles, he can just go, okay, deposit one here, deposit one here. And then the circle guy says, oh, yep, you needed a circle, so I'm going to deposit it there. And now look at that. Everybody has the ideal scenario where the walls have the 2 shapes that they do not have. But now again, that's if you have good comms and people are asking each other who's what, and also which statue is who. A low comm strat would be, okay, so obviously this is ideal, but what you could do is if you really don't know what you're doing, you could just say, okay, let us put initially, because it might be incorrect here, put the circles on the circle. Put the squares on the square, put the triangle on the triangle. This is a sort of like a preparation phase, so we'll do this, circle's there, this guy has a circle, he'll put it over there, or you put the triangle there. Circle here, square here. Now, obviously, this wouldn't make sense because we just had it in the perfect scenario, but in case it isn't the perfect scenario, if you do this, you are now going to be put in the situation where each of the people in the middle, again, that takes no comms to say, oh, I'll put the circle on the circle, I'll put the square on the square, I'll put the triangle on the triangle, if you have those in your room, right? Obviously, if you start and you have a triangle already, that's great, that you don't need it and you're in the triangle room. But once you're in this scenario, then again, you don't need any comms to say, oh, I just put the triangle in the opposite side. Because I know that neither of them have a triangle, so I know where to put these, right? I don't need to know what they have. I can do this completely blind. I don't need to know who doesn't have a circle, because I know they both don't have a circle, right? That is the inside. Now, I will admit that that strategy of taking the time to first shuffle them all into the same orderly fashion and then splitting them out with no comms might be slow on time, It'll definitely take longer than if you had good comms and did it, quickly. But I want to imagine that, especially after contest mode, maybe the time will be lenient enough that you can actually do that without wiping to the timer, right? But now, for the outside, you essentially want to make what they're gonna have here. And also, technically speaking, this can be done solo. In fact, I'd argue it's better solo so that people don't interfere with you. So, normally you'll see once people get teleported inside, they will say the order of the shapes. They will say triangle, square, circle. What that means to the people on the outside is that you want the outside players or the outside statues to be holding the 3D shapes made out of the two other shapes. So, if it is triangle, circle, square, that means that you want the statues to be holding a square and a circle, because that would be the triangle, a triangle and a circle, because that is missing the square, and then you want a triangle and a square. That would match the circle. But again, that is not what we have here, right? I'm going to add a little something else here. I'm going to add a little... This is not a square, this is a rectangle now, but it's fine. We're going to call this the dissection box. Right? So, here's what's going to work. The outside will always have all three symbols on the wall, because that means that the knights will drop all three symbols. So let's say you kill all three knights and you have a square, circle, and a triangle on the ground. Right now, this is all incorrect. So, how do we get to have the exact shapes that they need? So what happens is once you kill a knight, and let's say you pick up a square, that means that you can dissect a square from one of these two. Either this one or this one. You can't dissect from here because there's no square to dissect, right? So, let's say you pick up a square buff. You can dissect one of these two. It would make sense to dissect from this middle one because you know for a fact, TC, they do not want a square. So, let's say you dissect the square. What this does is it puts it in a little, whoopsie daisy. It takes it and it puts it in this dissection box. Now, the next symbol that you dissect will switch places with where this was from. So you dissected a square. You know for a fact you want to put a square over here on the right. You're not going to put a square here because then you make a cube and that is absolutely pointless, right? You never want to double up because you know for a fact it always has to be alternating symbols. That means that for a fact you know you're going to dissect from this pair here. Now the question is which one? The circle or the triangle? Again, you know for a fact because this person has a circle symbol in the 2D, they want a square and a triangle. So you don't want to dissect this triangle because it's already there. So you dissect the circle. That will get switched over. Okay, well this does kind of mix things up. That will put the circle over here. And we'll put the square over here. This does be bad because now you have two circles, but that's fine. What happens then is that you can just kill a circle now. Oh, well, you'll probably have to kill, because you just killed the square and the circle, there will only be a triangle left on the ground. So that means now you'll have to pick up the triangle, right? But that's fine because you know that you need to dissect a triangle from here anyway. So let's dissect a triangle from here. And then once you obviously kill all three of the knights, so all of these three have been dissected, square, circle, triangle, that means there's no more essences on the floor. An unstoppable ogre spawns. Kill the unstoppable ogre, more knights spawn. But anyway, you now have a triangle dissected. You need to now kill a circle knight to dissect the circle. Remove it from here. Put the circle over here, and then the dissection box, this slots into where it went. And look at that. You now have, on the outside, the 3D shapes that match the 2D symbols on the walls of these inside players. What this means then is that the people on the inside can now pick up or kill the knight, pick up a circle, and then while they have the circle buff, kill the other knight, pick up their square buff, and then those two will merge in their buff list to create whatever this is, which is a cylinder, as you can see up here on the top side. That means that they can then walk through the glass wall, and then they can make it to the outside. And then it does the whole thing where it shatters everybody, and then you all wipe except one person, and then you need to pick up their ghost, and then direct him up. This person's statue is the third one, place him there. This person's statue is that one, place him there. So the whole fake wiping, you die and your ghost spawns, and somebody has to pick up your ghost and place it. That's a whole nother mechanic. That's, I want to say, simpler to understand, because it's literally just, where do I go? And you can then direct them and say, oh, it's the second statue, place me there, res me there, right? I mean, the only tip I can say is maybe, I don't know, put on the most distinctive cloak or something, or armor pieces to help distinguish who it is. Like, my group always gives me shit for wearing the weird looking Rouge Nightmares cloak on my hunter, which makes me look like a mosquito or something. But hey, that's gonna help out. If you see a guy with a wide curtain rack on his back, you know it's me. But I think this is just a good guide to show a good overview of the entirety of what is happening inside and outside, and showing how the switches go, right? Now again, I'm gonna be honest, I have not actually done this encounter myself manually, but I've watched several different POVs, inside and out, and this is what they've been doing. Again, doing it with comms on the inside is a lot easier, because then, you know, you can say, oh, I can give a circle to you, I can give a circle to that. The one thing I'm not entirely certain of is if somebody can get like 3 on the wall. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I've definitely seen people with none on their wall though, which would imply that somebody else would have had 3. So that might be a bit dicey. So once again, if we just do a random shuffle here, we'll go through this one more time, just for the sake of everything, right? If you are on the outside and you hear this call out, triangle, circle, square, it could be any order, right? But again, the same concept applies. Triangle, circle, square means that square and a circle on the first statue, triangle, circle on the middle statue, triangle, square on the second statue, or the third statue rather, my bad. So what you do is you see here, you already have a circle, you need to get a square here, right? You can get a square from either of the other 2. And this is the nice thing, it is always one of the other 2, because that's just how the math works out. There's 2 of each symbol. So if you take this triangle out and dissect it, you can remove either of these, well, you can in theory remove either of these squares, but obviously you don't want to remove this square because they need this one, right? It needs a triangle and a square, which is, oh, it's already perfect. Actually, in that case, I randomly shuffled it to be perfect. Then, you know, put the square here, and automatically this will go here. You're switching them essentially. That's incredibly easy. There's probably going to be a bit more switches in that, but you get the idea then, right? If there was anything else, if you do it once, you can just do it again, right? Just keep switching until you have the shape that you don't have. Now, I know obviously it's going to be a bit harder because you're going to have to look and see the actual 3D shapes, but I think visualizing it in this way is a bit easier. And then on the inside, if you have the triangle, again, what you could do, low comms, is just put the circle on the circle, right? And then if you're all doing that at the same time, this circle guy will say, oh, I'll put the square on the square. I'll put the triangle on the triangle. No comms required whatsoever. I didn't have to know who needs it, who doesn't need it. And then once you're here, you just say, oh, I know for a fact I can just put these on the other people's sides, right? Now, what if it's not that case? What if it was here? What you can do is you can try and do it in order and say, the first person says, I need a square. He already has a circle. This circle person, you do not give away your square because you need it as well. Square person says, oh, I have a square to give you. I will give you my square, right? Second person then says, oh, I need a circle. You don't want to give away your circle here because you need the circle here, the triangle person. This person says, oh, I have a circle, but I am the circle, so I'll give you my circle instead. Then third person says, oh, I need a triangle. Triangle person says, oh, I have a triangle, I don't need it. I will give you my triangle. And then boom, what do you know? Again, the ones on the outside match the ones on the inside. And there you go. Again, this is technically speaking speculation. I haven't done it myself, but I think this works. Well, this should work like a charm. But yeah, hopefully then that helps. It helps me at least understand a bit more. Otherwise, you know, the other mechanic is essentially the ghost stuff. So obviously, once everybody picks up both buffs to make the symbol, or make the shape rather, the 3D shape, they can come out and then it does the thing where it wipes all 5 people except 1 person. So not all people, I guess. 5 people except 1. And then they can start picking up ghosts. If they pick up, let's say they pick up my ghost, they'll say, oh, where is Shanahavt's statue? And then somebody will be able to see my ugly ass hunter and say, oh, Shanahavt is in the second podium. The person will place my ghost in the second podium. I will be revived. Then we can both pick up somebody else's ghost and say, okay, where is player 2's ghost? Where is player 3's ghost? And then you place them where they need to go. But at the same time, what is going to happen is this will also happen throughout the encounter as well on an individual basis. You know, every now and then somebody somewhere will get wiped. You aren't actually dying, but it'll just kill you. And then your ghost will reappear in the outside room. Somebody picks up your ghost and then you can tell them, oh, you have my ghost. And then you'll have to say, Whereas Shanna has podium, you know, which is a bit more annoying to do during all this swapping, but I think that if you know how to do the swapping, then yeah, that's the main issue. Yeah, hopefully this is helpful though. I think it's definitely helpful to make me understand it a bit more, get a good overview. Otherwise, good luck in the raids, I guess. And if this guide helped you, then, you know, the usual like, comment, subscribe. If I'm wrong, feel free to yell at me. If you know what shape what I'm calling a pyramid, I don't know what to call it. Is it Toblerone? Toblerone would actually have been a better name. Forget it. That's the new official name, Toblerone. Otherwise, again, like, comment, subscribe if it helped, or if you enjoyed it. Otherwise, peace.